So we're going to talk about vulnerability and cosmic force. This is the beginning of an intermediate level of 8 minutes of enlightenment rants. So if this is the first one you've ever clicked, maybe go back a few and catch up. It's not that this is episodic, but it is cumulative, perhaps. Also, Richard is leaving for another country soon, so our fine guitarist will be not present in the immediate vicinity of the camera from this point forward after this next series. But what we need to say about vulnerability and cosmic force is that vulnerability is the recognition that we are a hollow reed through which an unknown quantity of force, of universal force, is moving at any one time. We know the Earth has a voltage between the poles of some millions and millions of volts, but its amperage is about 1,000 amps or something like that. Maybe I have that backwards, but there's like an electrostatic charge around the Earth, and we too are instilled by the universe with an electrostatic and biomagnetic and etheric resonant charge with the intelligent life of the universe. Therefore, we reside in a place of charge and discharge. We are a pulsating element of the Universal Dynamo. Okay, each of us. Now that means we are subject to these great cosmic tides that are behind the pulsatory phenomena of etheric and bioenergetic capacity, which is what we show that we have as human beings. And when you dive into that field, you just discover, whoa, I'm feeling this way and I don't like feeling this way. Or, oh, you know, I can't sleep because I have too many thoughts running through my mind. Or what have you. You know, you're preoccupied, your stress hormones are exceeding normal. And you're just starting to feel like life is not under your control, and that's actually a really good place to be, because when we can let go, when we can imagine that we are not in control and never have been, but really are just surfing out on the edge of time wave zero, we can find ourselves relaxing a little bit and becoming more ourselves in that moment. A rant like this is actually meant not to entertain or educate solely, but also to liberate myself from the constraints of preconceptual horizons of thought, and actually to live in the moment and to show that I'm freewheeling it, that I'm free to explore the mysterious forefront of my own consciousness. I'm doing it for a reason, yes, which is to awaken, but it's to awaken me most of all. Let's just get that straight. There's no pretense here that I'm waking you up. I'm just saying enlightenment is what we do. Enlightenment is what we are. You know? So, giving oneself to time wave zero, giving oneself to notions like we have discussed in our previous recordings, such as we are sitting still and time is intercepting us from the future, and that therefore once we contact that experience, it's almost like the chi in our own microcosmic orbit. We can feel time impinging on this vessel, and therefore we are vulnerable to the tides of time. You can feel it. not just an imaginary phenomenon. It's really hard not to become overwhelmed at times by these contemplations that higher order functions of the universe are working through us every moment. It's a feedback loop. To recognize that, and that's what I'm trying to say about vulnerability, is that is it. It is the recognition that you are subject to forces greater than yourself. Unfortunately, all of humankind's attempts to cultivate will and the machinations of social orders will come to naught if we don't master this vessel, the microcosmic orbit of this vessel, if we don't hear ourselves in the future talking to ourselves right now, completing that loop of the larger microcosmic orbit of time extension. There is a way to realize yourself now as the person you've always wanted to be, or always known yourself to be. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't sit back and accept the status quo as moving as fast as it can. You know, that's very Zen-like. Very good, yes. But what about you as a time agent? What if you've come from the future to sprinkle some fairy dust on this planet that accelerates the development of certain regions of consciousness, certain expressions of the soul, like the Rant, for instance? Ooh, I'm taking myself way too seriously right now. But you could influence the rate at which time moves on this earth through your breath, through your heartbeat, through your soul light, through soul force, which is indeed the cosmic force. So releasing cosmic force is a matter of opening to the fact that you're a hollow reed. Number one, you are like a double helix yourself, and you're receiving energy from one polarity, giving energy from another. And this happens on many levels and is influenced by a universal rotational field that we can call torsion, that we'll get into in the next video. But torsion fields are linked to emotion. Emotion is linked to higher orders and functions of consciousness. Empathy is the root of it all. But vulnerability comes before empathy. We love you.